Earlier in the course, we spent some time looking at how we could control the default appearance of type within a web page. Well, how do you control the default appearance of hyperlinks? Because right now it's blue text with an underline, which typically is a good indicator to the end user that it is in fact a hyperlink. But what if you wanted some control over that? Well, you can use something called the pseudo selector. And in this case, the pseudo selector will give you the ability to change the appearance of the text based upon a particular state. For example, when the hyperlink first loads within the page, that's considered a link. If you mouse over it, that's considered a hover. If you're clicking on it, that's considered an active link. And if you've been to that page, that's considered a visited link. All of these different types of pseudo selectors or different types of states associated with the links can have different appearances. So how can we control the appearance of links inside of Dreamweaver? Well, you certainly could use the CSS designer and set up the pseudo selectors manually, but there's really no need for that. What you can do is come up to the Modify menu, and from the Modify menu, you can choose Page Properties. Inside the Page Properties dialog box, you'll notice that there's a Links category. And you'll also notice that in parentheses it reads CSS, which is an indicator that it's going to write CSS for you. Again, the disadvantage of working with pseudo selectors in this sense is it's going to automatically put these rules within your page. So it would be up to you to cut them out of your page and to put them in an external style sheet file if that was in fact your workflow. So first of all, you can control things like the font and the size. I don't really want to do that. Typically, I want my type to be consistent across the entire page, whether or not the text is hyperlinked or not. But you may want to control the colors. So in this case, we can switch the link color to something else like green. The visited link by default would appear purple, but again, you can control that. I'll go ahead and set it to a dark red. The rollover link is what the link will look like when you mouse over the link. If you want to change the color, you can go ahead and do that. And the active link is the brief moment in time when you're actually clicking on the link. Now, you can also control other things like the underline style. It's not uncommon to come over here and choose Hide Underline on Rollover. Again, it creates a little bit of interactivity for the end user to recognize that they are in fact interacting with a link element. So at this point, you can go ahead and click OK. Once you click OK, if we take a look at the CSS designer, we can come over and select the style tag, which means all of these rules, these selectors that have been created for you, are located within this HTML document within the style tag set. But if you highlight link, you'll see all the different properties associated with it. Same thing with visited, hover, and active. But at this point, if you want, you can preview this in a web browser to see exactly what it will look like when the end user interacts with these links. So with the document saved, I'll come over here and take a look at it in Safari. If I hover over this, you'll notice the underline goes away and the color changes. If I click Go to Page, it will bring me to that page. If I click the back button, I can see the visited link color. So these pseudo selectors are incredibly easy to control in Dreamweaver by using the Document Properties dialog box.